self-control, right thought, and calmness. We're going to break this down into 3 parts because each one's a pillar holding up this whole Stoic philosophy thing. Along the way, I'll share some personal stories, maybe a couple of bad decisions I've made, and a few jokes to keep us from sounding like we're brooding in a toga all day. So, grab your coffee, your tea, or if you're like me, your slightly overpriced energy drink, and let's get into it. 1. Self-control is strength. Let's start with the first piece. Self-control is strength. This is straight out of the Stoic playbook. Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Epictetus, they were obsessed with this idea. Why? Because life throws curveballs, and the only thing we've got real power over is how we swing back, or if we swing at all. Think about it. How many times have you lost it over something small? Like you're stuck in traffic, honking at the guy in front of you who's texting his life story, and suddenly you're the one red-faced and yelling. Who's winning there? Not you. The Stoics would say strength isn't in the outburst, it's in the restraint. I've got a story for you. A few years back, I was at this family reunion, big Italian family, lots of yelling, lots of pasta. My cousin Tony, bless him, he's got a mouth on him. He starts ribbing me about how I still haven't figured out what I'm doing with my life. Now I'm sitting there, fork halfway to my mouth with a meatball dangling, and I can feel the heat rising. Old me would have fired back, probably something dumb like, "Yeah, well, at least I don't still live in Aunt Maria's basement." Which, okay, is true, but not the point. Instead, I took a breath. I put the fork down. Very dramatic, I know, and I just smiled and said, "You might be right, Tony. I'm still working on it." Boom. Silence. He didn't know what to do with that. And you know what? I felt like a king. Not because I won the argument, but because I didn't let him drag me into the mud. That's self-control. That's strength. Marcus Aurelius has this killer line. He says, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." I mean, come on, that's gold. The guy was emperor of Rome, dealing with wars and plagues, and he's telling us the real battlefield's in our heads. Now let's lighten this up a bit. Here's a joke for you. Why don't Stoics ever lose their temper? Because they'd rather argue with their own thoughts than with you. Okay, maybe I won't quit my day job for comedy. But seriously, self-control isn't about being a robot. It's about choosing your battles. Next time you're about to snap, whether it's at your boss, your spouse, or the barista who messed up your order, just pause. Ask yourself, is this worth my energy? 9 times out of 10, it's not. That's your strength showing up. We'll come back to this, but let's shift gears. Self-control's the foundation, but it's what you do with your mind next that takes it up a notch. 2. Right thought is mastery. All right, part 2. Right thought is mastery. This one's tricky because it's all about what's bouncing around in that skull of yours. The Stoics believed our thoughts shape our reality. Epictetus said it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Basically, your brain's the director, and life's just the movie it's making. I'll give you another personal learning moment. Back in college, I was obsessed with this girl, Sarah. She was smart, funny, way out of my league. I finally worked up the guts to ask her out, and she said yes. Great, right? Except then I spent the whole week before the date overthinking everything. What if she hates my shirt? What if I spill spaghetti on myself? What if she secretly hates me already? By the time the date rolled around, I was a nervous wreck. Guess what happened? I spilled spaghetti on myself. Yep, full-on marinara disaster. She laughed, but I was so in my head I barely said 2 words after that. Date over. Looking back, the problem wasn't the spill, it was my thoughts. I'd built this whole catastrophe in my mind before anything even happened. If I'd just thought, hey, it's a date, not a life sentence, maybe I'd have relaxed and had a shot. The Stoics call this mastering your perceptions. Seneca talks about how we suffer more in imagination than in reality. And he's right. How often do we torture ourselves with what-ifs? Right thought is about cutting through that noise. It's saying, okay, this is what's happening. Not what I think might happen, but what's real right now. That's mastery. Let's toss in a joke here. Why don't Stoics ever worry? Because they've already imagined the worst, and it's still better than their last toga party. All right, I'll stop with the toga jokes. Maybe. Point is, right thought takes practice. Next time you catch yourself spiraling, maybe you're stressing about a deadline or replaying an awkward convo, stop. Ask what's actually true here. Strip it down. You'll be amazed how much lighter you feel. That's the mastery kicking in. Okay, we've got self-control, we've got right thought. Now let's tie it all together with the big one. Calmness. Calmness is power. Last up, calmness is power. This is the Stoic flex, when everything's on fire and you're just standing there, cool as a cucumber. It's not about being numb, it's about being steady. I've got one more story for you. A couple months ago, I was on a work deadline. Big project, total chaos. My laptop crashed, my Wi-Fi died, and my dog decided it was the perfect time to chew through my charger cable. I was this close to hurling my coffee mug across the room. But then I remembered something Marcus Aurelius wrote. If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment. So I stopped, took a breath, fixed what I could, one step at a time, and you know what? I got it done. Not because I'm a superhero, but because I didn't let the storm inside me match the one outside. That's power. Calmness isn't weakness. It's the opposite. It's the quiet confidence that says, I've got this. And here's the kicker. When you're calm, everyone else feels it too. Ever notice how a steady voice in a crisis can turn panic into focus? That's Stoic power in action. One last joke. Why was the Stoic so calm during the storm? Because he knew the rain couldn't ruin his inner Wi-Fi. Okay, I'm done. I promise. But really, try this. Next time life's throwing punches, don't punch back. Stand still. Breathe. Let the chaos pass. That's where your power lives. So there you have it. Self-control is strength. Right thought is mastery. Calmness is power. 3 Stoic tools to carry you through whatever's coming your way. I'll leave you with this. Life's not about avoiding the mess. It's about how you handle it when it shows up. Thanks for hanging out with me today on the Stoic Path. If you like this, drop me a message, share it with a friend, or just sit quietly and contemplate your existence, your call. Until next time, stay steady, stay thoughtful, and keep walking the path.